Now, this part of downtown Tulsa, the northwest side, is considered to be in that highest risk category, and many of them already putting up signs like this, asking customers to wear masks. Organizers here told me they were forced to do a drive-in festival in 2020, and it worked so well last year, they decided to do it again this year. They're estimating all this damage to cost about $1 million. Now, he says, thankfully, that will be covered by insurance. You can see just how high this water is. Where I'm standing is actually a campsite. You can see this park bench just peeking through the water. Once they went into the grocery store and saw all those shelves completely empty, there was no way they could stay. People started lining up out here around 8 o'clock, and the organizers told me that just shows how much support they have from the community. They rarely see people using these bicycle lanes, and they tell me when someone actually does on that rare occasion, drivers are forced to make hard stops dodging those cyclists. And it was a pretty simple process. One man I talked to today told me when they make it this easy just to walk up, get the shot, and then go on about your day, he doesn't understand why people just won't get it. The police out here tell me that they have rescued that woman from the water. Now, the area where she jumped in was only about 2 feet deep. I did go by some of those same businesses and talked with those owners who say they were shocked to hear that someone was killed just blocks away. I was told that I would actually have to speak with the FBI to get some more information, but I can confirm that a body was removed from Bird Creek with a boat. Now, I'm going to step aside and show you just the area where they were. Now, Shannon Miller's family tells me they only want to get some sense of closure. We're going to work to get as much information as we can. We'll bring you more details when we get them. They told me this stretch on Pine from MLK to Yale was just too congested, and it was making it hard for their customers to get to their parking lots. And they tell me it feels like it was just a waste of tax dollars.
You go and do one thing, then that's money. Then you come back and change it, that's more money.
Patricia Kemp works at the New Look Style Shop and says taking Pine down to one lane in both directions only caused problems for the area.
I just didn't feel a need for a bike lane because of the traffic flow on this street.
One of those problematic areas right in front of Carver Middle School.
We had a couple of school items also with the train crossings, so we kind of had a perfect storm. And that pretty much solidified that we're going to have to do something different.
Barrels going back up as crews paint over the bike lanes.
We're all paying for it, but it's like the way we approach it is we could have built bump outs and we could have blocked out these things, and then you would be talking about factors of 2 and 3 times the cost.
If it doesn't come directly out of your pocket, it don't cost that much money. But see, this is my money, your money, every taxpayer's money. So I wouldn't care if it was a dime. If it was a waste, it was a waste.
Michael Manning owns Mac Wings on Pine and Lansing and says he wishes those tax dollars could have went to something else.
I certainly would wish that if they come up with any other bright ideas, that they would make a conscious effort to poll the community.
But the city says they are listening to the community and learning from their mistakes.
We'll take our bruises on Pine, but we believe it's always best to try those things out first. If it doesn't work, we'll try something else.
I will tell you right now, this is the biggest Juneteenth I've ever seen here in Tulsa. And the organizers have been on the mic saying this is the biggest one in the country happening right now. But they also tell me the goal was to bring businesses out here to Black Wall Street and keep people coming. And they say once this festival wraps up, it's not over. There's more coming to our community.
We're going to start doing more festivals. You know, we got a lot of stuff up our sleeves.
Sherry Gamble is the co-founder and president of the Juneteenth Festival and says support this year has been amazing.
This is probably more entrepreneurs than we've seen in Juneteenth festivals since we started. And so that it just shows us the spirit of Black Wall Street, like it didn't die.
Black businesses like My Mama's House food truck setting up in the Greenwood district.
What I have in here is exactly what you would find when you go to your mom's for dinner.
Gwen Mitchell has been in the catering business for years, but just opened her food truck during the pandemic.
I love what we're doing. I love what it embodies, and just being in the mix this time, providing food, entertainment, and loving the camaraderie that we have here.
As a Tulsa native, she says it's only been over the last few years where Black businesses have really started to flourish here in Tulsa.
Seeing a mirage people of the same color, it's very humbling. And I'm grateful to God that we have this opportunity and we're taking advantage of it. We're making things happen and we're enjoying one another in the process.
Once this Juneteenth celebration ends, Mitchell says she's excited to be a part of the future festivals, feeding the community and helping Tulsa evolve.
With all of the attention that this gathering has drawn, maybe we'll move forward in a more positive direction for one another.
We're thrivers, you know. Hey, if we made it past 1921 and we're still going, then we're unstoppable.
As far as a vaccine, I haven't really researched it much.
This vaccine just came out of nowhere, so I don't think I could just trust something that I don't know too much about.
Chevy the barber, the owner of the Chop House Barbershop, says he never felt like COVID-19 would affect him.
I feel healthy and there's nothing wrong with me, there's nothing wrong with my son, and I don't think it's necessary.
While many businesses were forced to close during the pandemic, Chevy was able to open his own barbershop.
It was crazy. I had an NFL running back, Josh Jacobs, to come to my house and get a haircut because he seen my haircuts, and I just took flight after that.
While they're not too sure about the vaccine, masks are required for customers and workers inside the Chop House. But with mandates expiring in Tulsa, all eyes are on vaccination efforts.
We came out of the gate very strong. Oklahoma was ranked 10th, in the top 10 of states that were distributing vaccine early. We're actually falling back now.
With varying opinions from health officials and the pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, some say that's part of the reason they've decided to wait.
They keep switching different vaccines, like they're not sure which one is going to work 100%.
None of the vaccines claim to 100% protect you from the virus, but doctors do say they will help fight against the spread to those who have weaker immune systems.
It's been a whole year since the pandemic started, and I think everybody's just ready to get back to normal.
According to Dr. Bratzler, that sense of normalcy depends on the number of people vaccinated, which is only about 25% of the population right now.
I'm just waiting to make sure that the vaccine really works efficiently, and that I can trust it.
Health leaders say no corners were cut when testing the vaccine. They underwent the same tests and studies as other vaccines before being presented to the public. Yeah, Tyler, it's 20 years later, but he still remembers every moment like it was yesterday. Not only does the city of New York provide them with mental help, but they also have yearly exams. Since 9/11, more than 200 FDNY members have died as a result of responding to those attacks. Simply a conversation, an opportunity for the House to bring in experts to look at how something like reparations would even work. And she says the House denying that study is basically saying they don't want to talk about it. Now, the House did approve 113 interim studies, including one discussing the removal of 244 through the Greenwood District. Now, Goodwin says while she does support the idea, that alone is not reparations. And right now, Pfizer is the only booster shot available. Health officials do not recommend mixing those shots. They're not planning on it at all. Last time they took 2 vans to Washington, D.C. This time they said there's just so much going on that they weren't even able to organize it, but they do support the cause. The celebration here in Bixby at Bentley Park is supposed to start at 7 o'clock, and as you can see behind me, people are still setting up. Thousands of people coming to spend the day here at the fair, and for some, it was the perfect opportunity to share information about COVID vaccines. All right, and as you can see, there's still plenty of people out here. This is gonna take a minute to clear out. Happy 4th of July, everybody. Live from the river, DeNeeka Hill, News Channel 8.